If you have a lower follower count, you're probably wondering how to pitch to brands as a micro-influencer. It's true, you don't need hundreds of thousands of followers in order to get brand partnerships and really make some real money here. Especially right now, more and more brands are looking to work with micro and nano influencers because of their high engagement rates and really loyal following. Smaller creators with a smaller amount of followers are able to actually take the time to talk with a lot of their followers, whereas the creators with hundreds of thousands of followers just don't have the capacity to be speaking to every single one of them. So as a smaller creator, because you're able to make these deeper connections with your audience, you actually have a leg up here. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all the things you need to know about successfully pitching to brands as a micro-influencer, and I'm going to tell you exactly what needs to be in your brand pitch email template for you to have success. Hello my friends, my name is Kristen and I'm so excited that you're here. I'm a content creator as well as a creator coach and the owner of Soulcialmate and the host of Social Scoop podcast, where we teach creators just like you how to turn their online influence and creativity into a profitable, self-sustaining business. Now, don't forget that we interviewed Jordan Nicholson, who is a content creator and creator coach, all about how to successfully get the attention of the brands that you're pitching to. That episode of Social Scoop podcast is available everywhere that you listen to your podcasts. Also, don't forget that timestamps are down below in the description so that you can hop around and find exactly what you're looking for. Now let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about what you need to do before you start pitching. You only get one first impression with the brand, so it's very important that you go through this checklist first so that your first impression can be the best one possible. So how can you present yourself very well to your dream brands? First things first, ensure that your profile is well branded. If a brand can come onto your profile in the first 3 to 5 seconds and have a very good understanding of who you are, what your mission is, and who your audience is, you're already off to a really great start. It's so much easier for a brand to invest in a creator who is very well branded because it shows that you have the professionalism and the creativity that it takes to create an entire brand and work with brands very, very well and seamlessly. It's really hard for a brand to invest in a creator who doesn't really feel like they have much direction. Number 2, only pitch to brands when you are feeling like you're on fire. You're gonna want your engagement rate to be looking perfect, and you're also gonna want to feel really, really great about your content. Think about it from a brand's perspective. They're investing money in you so that you can create high converting content. Now, if you're creating content that you're not really that excited about, your audience is very likely gonna feel that and also not be very excited about it. So how can a brand feel comfortable investing in you and your content when your content is not top-notch and your engagement is low because you're not excited about the content? So why should your audience be? Number 3, do your research into that brand. Going into your pitch having some information about what the brand is up to, if there are any new products, new technology, new innovation that they're working on, is gonna give you a leg up because it really shows that you're paying attention to what they're doing as a company. Now think about this from a brand's perspective again. Would you rather invest in a creator who copies and pastes the same email template that says they love your brand, or would you rather invest in a creator who can show you that they're paying attention and really love what you're doing as a company? I think the answer is pretty obvious here. Actions speak louder than words. And that's why step 4 is so important, warming up the brand. Now, I've talked about this in a previous video before, but this warming up process is where you're gonna start to show the brand basically that you exist. The warming up process for me always starts off with me following the brand. Can you imagine getting a pitch from a creator who does not even follow you and is just expecting you to dish out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars? It just doesn't make sense. After I follow the brand, I typically take about 10 to 14 days to interact with them and really get familiar with what they're doing on social media. Typically, I turn on post notifications for the brand so that anytime they post, I'm there commenting, liking, even sharing the content. I love to respond to the stories of the brand as well because it's a great way to slide into their DMs in a way that feels really organic. You can even go ahead and mention the brand in a story, in a TikTok video, any way that you can show, hey, I actually exist and I'm already interested in sharing your brand with my audience. This is a great way to start getting the brand familiar with your name so that when you actually send this cold pitch, they'll have already seen your name a couple times before, so they know you're not just a random person. They can tell that you're someone who's actually interested in what they're doing. Now, warming up the brand is a huge part of the anti-pitch method that we actually teach in a free masterclass that's down below in the description. This method is all about building genuine relationships with the brands that you really want to work with. It's a great way to get your foot in the door, and it's been proven to have a much much higher success and response rate than just your typical cold pitch. And you can learn more about it down in the description. Number 5, share the brand organically. Look, I get it. No one wants to create free content, myself included. It makes you feel like if you create the content for free, then why is the brand gonna pay you down the road? You're already creating it for free. But this could not be further from the truth. About 50% of my personal partnerships in the year 2022 have come from me organically mentioning the brand. A lot of the times I do this through Instagram stories where it feels very organic and it's not a lot of work for me. I've also done product or service roundups where I mention a few of my favorite brands or companies in an Instagram post. That's also worked really well. And sometimes I've even created a TikTok video about the company explaining a little bit more about what they do and why my audience might be interested in them. And that's something that has also gotten me a lot of gigs this year. It's a really great way to show the brand that I'm interested in actually helping them grow, and I'm doing it even if I'm not getting paid. So it almost tells them, hey, look what I'm doing for free. Imagine if you were to pay me all of the great things that I could do for you. And at the very least, even if you're not able to secure a formal partnership with the brand, I've actually had a lot of brands see the content that I've created organically, really like it, and then ask to purchase usage rights for that content. So worst case scenario, maybe you get a gig where it's just strictly usage rights, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna get paid. Now, obviously mentioning a brand in an organic post, maybe just once especially, is not a guaranteed way to make a connection with them, especially for bigger brands that are getting bombarded with tags and mentions. So I typically suggest doing this a few times so that you can really show the brand that you're interested and get their attention. Now, what brands should you be pitching to? This is something that I see all the time, especially on TikTok. 10 brands that will work with micro influencers. Guys, brands will work with you no matter what follower you count if you are the right brand partner. Plain and simple, if you can prove your loyalty to a brand and prove that you have high converting content, an audience who's really excited about the product or service, and you're able to create content that portrays that and actually gets your audience to take action, then you can work with that brand. Most brands do not have a specific follower count that they abide by, especially if the right person walks in the door. Overall, it's all about building relationships. If you're able to prove that loyalty, you already have your foot in the door. If you're interested in learning more about finding the contact information for your favorite brands, definitely let me know in the comments so that I can work on a video for you. Also, all of our Soulcialmate monthly creator members do have access to our collaborative brand email list with over 150 brand contacts that we all contribute to. So you'll be able to spend less time finding the contacts for the brands that you want to work with and more time actually getting to know them. You can learn more about our monthly creator membership down in the description. So the moment you've been waiting for, what the heck does this email even look like, right? I'm gonna break it down into a few different parts for you. Now, a lot of people are like, can't you just give us a script, a copy and paste script that we can go off of? And my advice here is not to copy and paste your pitches. Brands are getting hundreds, if not thousands of emails every week from creators. And if you're copying and pasting the same exact email to a ton of brands, at this point, it's incredibly obvious to them and they're very likely going to read over it very quickly and then delete it, or maybe not even read it at all because it looks exactly the same as all of the other emails that they're getting. The idea here is to really stand out and prove that you're not just someone who's in it for the money and that you're really in it to help this brand grow. First things first is your introduction. It's as simple as it sounds. Typically, my introduction starts off with, I hope you're doing well. My name is Kristen and I'm a Charlotte-based content creator and creator coach on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And then those 3 platforms are linked to my profiles. I share self-care and business tips for creators who are looking to monetize their online influence. That's my first paragraph, plain and simple. Then we're gonna move on to some sort of personal connection. And for this example, I'm gonna be pitching to a brand called Taylor Brands. I might say, when I first was getting started as a content creator building a business, I had a really hard time figuring out the logistics. But I did use Taylor Brands to help me file for my LLC. It made it so much easier for me. Again, plain and simple. Next, you want to talk about why your audience actually cares about this brand. Because remember, you're selling to your audience. So I might say, with my audience being made up of mostly entrepreneurs, small business owners, and content creators, I know that they're going through a lot of the same struggles that I was when I was in their shoes. Tailor brands actually helped me get through a lot of those struggles, so I'd love to share my experience with them. I know that they would get a lot of use out of the website builder, email services, and help registering as an LLC. Because these are all different services that Tailor Brands offers, I'm explaining why my audience would actually want to use their service. The next part is actually optional, and if you're using a media kit, you really could skip out here, but if you don't want to attach your media kit to your pitch, I would instead put some stats listed here in this area. I might say, see below so you can learn a little bit more about me and my audience. Typically, I do a small bullet point list of maybe 3 to 5 bullet points, just talking about my top cities, maybe top countries, or even the top age bracket or gender of the audience as well, if those things would be specifically relevant to the product. If you have a high engagement rate, this is also a great place to insert that. Then I end my email off with what I like to call the open invite. So I might say, what marketing goals are you working on right now at Tailor Brands for the next quarter? I would love to grab a virtual coffee with you to discuss some ideas that I have on how we can raise brand awareness and get more people using the services. When are you free in the next few weeks? I like to end my emails off with a question like that because it makes them feel a little bit more inclined to actually answer it. And I'm not asking when are you available this week, because a lot of the times, especially during the holiday season, it's gonna be really busy. So I like to say in the next few weeks so that I'm offering them a wider range of time to actually have the availability to speak with me. Now, what happens after you send this pitch? What if they don't respond? But what if they do respond? Now let me know in the comments if you want a part 2 to this video so I can share what you do with different responses that you might get to these pitches. If you've made it this far and you're not yet subscribed, make sure to hit that big red subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you can get notified every time we share a new video on all the tea that you need to know to be a successful creator. Also, don't forget our episode of Social Scoop podcast where we interview Jordan Nicholson, a creator and a creator coach, all about the things that you need to know to stand out in your pitch email. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.